Pearl in marker pens, and this is going to require me to work pretty fast, but I am actually doing the pearl large so that it's easy for you guys to watch without me having to zoom in. Well, I have zoomed in, but it just makes it easier for you to see it rather than me coloring a tiny little thing. And yet working fast, so I'm doing kind of 2/3 down the circle shape. And now some people, when they colour with marker pens, they do it really neat like this and stuff, and that's absolutely, sometimes I do, but and then sometimes I do this scribbling really fast, which does get a blend just as fine as well, and I suppose makes me makes me happy that I feel like I'm colouring quickly. Now we want to blend that by going in quickly over the top with this first colour, and again going in quickly. I'm trying to work while all the pens are wet. And yes, this one looks a bit yellow, this pink colour, it really doesn't matter, so I'm going down to about sort of half within that pink colour. Doesn't have to be absolutely spot on, it really doesn't. And then I'm going to come in with this, which is more of a sort of really bright pink cerise colour, and yet it does look a lot darker and different, a lot darker, more vibrant, which is what we want. And I'm working fast again, and do try to go, as I said, within 1 millimetre of your outline, the black outline, to allow for your markers to bleed. I've coloured this earlier, and yeah, it's gone over the black line, but it's not the end of the world, because if you're doing this on, say, a colouring page, you're going to have a shape here and a shape here, and you know, you can disguise it, or go over an edge with a bit of coloured, coloured pencil to, sort of minimise the, I'm doing it again, I find it so hard to talk when I'm concentrating on colouring. I'm trying to get better at talking and colouring, but I find it really difficult. Right, this is going to be my darker colour, and I'm trying to get the darker sort of bottom half, but sort of as a curve, gap in between. Got to allow for light reflections and the bounce of light. We do want this to look 3D when we're finished. So, and then after a bit of this and that and scribbling, I'm only going to do that dark colour the once, that very darkest colour the once. And now very quickly working, I'm going to, and hopefully on camera as I'm filming this, you can see the colours, because I'm working fast and they're wet, starting to merge a bit together. And yes, as I go over each layer again and again, then they're going to get richer in colour. So, this isn't ever going to be totally pale, because I'm just going over and over the colours. And it's going to merge. And it means I'm not putting the lids back on. I am doing this in real time. So, and I do want some light left at the bottom, as I've said. Where we're going here with this now. Merge. Can you see that merging when I put that? And I'm going to go back in with the very first colour and sort of get a soft transition going on. If I do the very light over the very dark too much, it'll sort of bleach out the colour. But then all you do is, I don't know if you're noticing, I'm going, once I'm doing this and I'm getting some sort of line going on here, I'm then going over it with the lighter previous colour to blend and minimise. Oh, made a mistake there. I wasn't even looking at the page. I was trying to look where my pens were. Never mind. And then going back over with this. So that does need to dry a bit. I'm going to put all my lids on. That does need to dry. Now we've done a mad, crazy mixing of our cake batter, we're gonna poke some holes into our cake. So I'm using the colourless blender, and ooh, you want a clean sheet underneath, because I don't want to, I'm pushing pigment through now with the colourless blender. And if you did have, sometimes it can bring a colour back up, sometimes. So we don't want that to happen. So what I'm doing now is colourless blender and being quite generous with the fluid coming out of it, because this is going to push some of the pigment through the page to give me a sort of bleached out looking area, and these are going to be our highlights. So remember this sort of curve, and this is going to curve down. Yeah, creating highlights, and the colourless will push the ink to the side and it will push it through, as you can see. That's what we want to start off what we're going to do. I've got to let that work its magic. Work on the highlights. This one right here is going to be the brightest highlight, the main focal point of highlights. So therefore I'm using white to enhance it, and also because I want it to be soft. It's a soft pearl. Yeah, pearls, if you want something that's sort of crisp and sharp, then that would be a chrome ball, but this is a pearl. We want it lovely and soft. I'm going to come in with some very light pink, softening up the edges, spreading this soft pink a little bit up into here. And I do want to go gently adding some light pink into the areas that we've erased, and particularly where I'm using the side of the nib to soften it, and still trying to keep my nice smiley shape of where the highlights are on the pearl. So this is going all right, making it nice and soft, pressing hard if I need it. I want it a little bit more obvious in the center of these highlights. Another soft one here. That's doing okay. And then the top. So I'm going to soften downwards gently. I'm using scumbling motion, softening the top where the light's hitting. Coming in with my light pink as a good transition. Do want some more white on this highlight, so I'm pressing harder here. This pearl is one of many new items that will be in my next tutorial book, which will be so colorists special effects. I'm zoomed in so you can't really see it. They're all on Amazon. There are 7 of them. That's the marker pen version, and I am doing another marker pen edition, which will be marker pen 2 version, which will come out next year in 2026. So I'm using white Posca pen, or any white paint pen will do the job, and just gently softening the black outline, which wouldn't really matter if you had a background on this which was dark in colour, and therefore your top line will be disguised. But trust me, this will look better. If I hadn't messed this up, I wasn't looking, I'll scribble over that. There we go, just to show you. So, and I'm gonna add a bit more white. As I said, this is my main highlight, but I don't want a crisp highlight, I want it soft. Let me blot that a bit. Now, if this bottom half isn't as dark as you would like it, then just come in with a very soft bit of grey. This is 70% warm grey, a Prismacolor pencil, just softly, just to ensure that the bottom circle part is definitely darker than the top. Okay. We want some shadow here to make it look grounded and not floating. It gives it more, you know, understanding and perspective of what's going on in the picture. So you can use pens or pencils. I'm just using some alcohol markers again, doing this quickly so that they merge a bit, and darker obviously right at the base where no light is hitting, and then I can go over and blend a little bit again. And that will blend as it's drying out. If you want it to even softer on the outside, then some colourless to soften up the very edge. Okay, that's looking all right for a lovely pink pearl.